To details now, bandits on Thursday night attacked Jibia town, the headquarters of Jibia local government area of Katsina state, killing 2 local security operatives and inflicting gunshot wounds on 5 people. The bandits, who struck from the southern part of the town, precisely at Katsina, faced steep resistance from a combined team of security operatives comprising police, local vigilantes and community watch corps, as well as other residents. Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi completes the report.
According to jibia residents, the bandits who arrived in the community around 9:30 p.m. and wielded dangerous weapons including AK-47 rifles operated for over an hour, shooting sporadically before they were confronted by security operatives. The bandits killed 1 local vigilante and a member of local community security watch corps during the attack, which is the 3rd in only 1 month, according to reports. Thousands of Jibia residents, who are mostly farmers and traders, have lost their means of livelihood to banditry, alleging that their representatives and other political leaders have abandoned them and relocated to other places, leaving them at the mercy of the hoodlums. This is a gunshot wound I sustained during one of the attacks on this community. It is like the bandits are hibernating around us, and I believe security personnel know their actual location, but we are left at the mercy of the hoodlums. The government needs to be serious about this before insecurity consumes all of us.
Wannan abu ya faru a nan unguwa DPO ne mutum na farko wanda ya fara zuwa a nan unguwai. Gwamnatin tarayya wadda ita haƙƙin tsaro ya rataya akan ta 100%.
We have been battling with the bandits who have been terrorizing this community with the support of few police operatives, vigilantes and security watch corps. But it seems like they are trying to overpower us due to the sophistication of their weapons. Our operatives need to be equipped with more sophisticated weapons to fight the bandits. Many accused operatives of the police, customs and immigrations who are stationed in the area of feeding fat from extorting motorists along the highways, other than ensuring security of lives and property. They are also lamenting that Jibia rural communities are ghost towns and villages, as residents have abandoned all their hard-earned resources and other valuables, now hanging around motor parks, filling stations, schools, and other public spaces in Katsina City.
As
a woman who cares about the plight of our people, I feel sad and disappointed in our representatives who have abandoned us here. It's just a few minutes after 5 p.m. and we are leaving our houses to pass the night elsewhere for fear of bandit attacks. It is very unfortunate because how long shall we continue to be in this situation?
Though residents are commending the resilience and swift response of the police in Jibia, they are, however, blaming the persistent attacks on the inaction of other security agencies in tackling insecurity in the area. Observers are asking the government to provide more armed security personnel to work closely with the police, vigilantes, and local community security watch corps with adequate arms and ammunition to confront the rampaging bandits. Abdullahi Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And joining us live at this time, we have Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi in Katsina State to give update on this development. Yamadi, welcome to the news hour. What can you tell us currently about updates on this development? I mean, the last we heard was combined security operatives had stormed forests around Katsina to comb them in order to flush out these bandits.
Well, thank you very much, Sajiro Ibrahim. At the moment, we have not heard anything from the security agencies regarding the combing of some forest around the Katsina in Jibia town. But what people are saying at the moment is that the police, vigilante, and of course local community and security watch corps request additional weapons and of course ammunitions for them to be able to confront these bandits that have frequented Jibia town. And of course they request a reinforcement of military personnel to assist them in fighting the bandits, because it's like, according to one of the members of the local vigilante group, they are becoming more overwhelmed about the frequency of these attacks. So they require a reinforcement of military personnel to assist them in fighting bandits and their collaborators.
All right, Abdullah, different parts of Katsina State you've covered, especially in relations to the activities of bandits and, of course, incessant attacks on some of these communities. But then again, we're seeing the Community Watch Corps in Katsina State, having fatalities as a result of the activities that, they're doing. But one brings the question, how would you assess the activities of the Community Watch Corps in Katsina, in light of the current security breakdown? Talk about Qaeda, for example, Ngor Qaeda.
Well, of course, people are saying the activities of Community and Security Watch Corps remains their only hope regarding the fight against these bandits, because they know the terrain of these local communities. And of course, they know some of the informants to bandits. They know some of the hideout of these bandits. So as such, their contribution towards combating the activities of banditry or other bandits cannot be overemphasized. The only thing they require is sophisticated weapons, adequate ammunitions, and of course the support of members of the communities and other security operatives for them to be able to face this challenge of insecurity squarely. And don't forget, just last Friday, another batch of members of this Community Security Watch Corps were inaugurated by Governor Diko Umaru Radda, knowing full their contributions towards combating banditry in Katsina State. So there is no two way about it. Local Community and Security Watch Corps, despite all odds, they are contributing towards combating this issue of banditry in Katsina State.
All right, thank you very much, Abdullah. Before we let you go, tell us the state of those who were unfortunately affected. I'm talking about the 5 persons who were wounded. Has there been any news about their status?
Well, in a chat with some of the residents of jibia this evening, they said the 5 people affected are currently receiving medical attention at a hospital here in Katsina. And the state government is taking care of their medications. And in another development, residents of Ungwar Gabas in Jibia town celebrating the return of 5 out of 10 people abducted 2 weeks ago, who returned this evening unhurt from the hands of bandits. They escaped from the hands of bandits unhurt, and the residents of the area are celebrating at the moment. So this is the situation as it is now.
Indeed, thank you so much, Yamadi, for the updates there. Continue to monitor the situation and, of course, feed us back in with details as soon as they develop. Thank you so much and have a good evening.
Thank you, Sir.
Yes, Trust TV's Abdullah Yamadi giving details on the situation in Katsina State. Moving on now, the Acting Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has arrived in Sokoto for his maiden operational visit to the 8th Division area of responsibility. In the northwestern state, he is expected to visit the Sultan of Sokoto and meet with other relevant stakeholders within the 8th Division area. He would use the opportunity to address troops of the Operation Fasanyama fighting terrorists in the northwest region. Oluyede's visit comes 3 days after the defense headquarters confirmed the emergence of a new terror group known as Lukurawa in Sokoto and Kebbi states. The Director Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, said the new terror group is exacerbating insecurity in the northwest region, but assured that the armed forces of Nigeria are already containing them. He added that the new terror group emerged from Mali and the Republic of Niger after the coup that led to the breakdown of military cooperation between Nigeria and Niger.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. What I will tell you at this moment is that, see, there will always be challenges. Now, the issue is how do we react to those challenges? So one of the reasons why I'm here is to charge up my soldiers to brace up to challenge, and that we shall do.
And I heard you talking to community leaders about the need for cooperation. Will you make this call in a bigger scale to Nigeria generally?
Well, my charge to the community people is for them to support us, because the fact is that Nigeria Army belongs to all Nigerians. And if we don't get their support, we can't succeed. And if we don't succeed, that means Nigeria itself will not be secured. And we need Nigeria to be secured so that we can have economic prosperity.
The Nigerian Air Force says its air component of Operation Hadin Kai in support of ongoing counter-terrorism efforts by the armed forces has neutralized more insurgents and obliterated strategic hideouts in the southern Tumbuns at Arina. The Director, Public Relations and Information Headquarters, Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Olushola Akimboyewa, in a statement on Saturday said the strikes were launched after credible intelligence revealed a mass movement of ISWAP fighters from the Lake Chad Basin to the southern Tumbuns, gearing up for coordinated assaults in the area. It said swift mop-up strikes followed, wiping out fleeing insurgents and ensuring total elimination of the threat. The statement added that a previous airstrike on October 30th, 2024 at Arina Woje had already dealt a critical blow to ISWAP, neutralizing around 50 terrorists, including a commander known as Qaid Bashir Dauda. It said the accomplishment represented a significant stride in the AFN's unwavering counter-terrorism campaign, dealing a powerful blow to enemy strongholds. Meanwhile, soldiers attached to Operation Safe Haven stationed at Generet community of Mangu local government area of Plateau State were on Saturday night accused of killing a 29-year-old herder, Haruna Aliyu, in the area. According to the state chairman of Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Magban Nuru Abdullahi, the soldiers arrived at Aliyu's house and killed him. He condemned the incident and described it as unfortunate. The Magban chairman further said the 29-year-old Aliyu, who was survived by a wife and 3 children, was buried on Saturday. The spokesperson of OPSH, Major Samson Jacom, is yet to respond to the allegation. And also the 17th Brigade Commander of the Nigerian Army Katsina State, Brigadier General Babatunde Omokwariola, on Saturday announced that doors are still open for bandits and violent extremists to surrender. He, however, advised anyone involved in the business of kidnapping to desist or face the consequences. Brigadier General Omokwariola was speaking when he handed over 9 rescued victims of kidnapping to officials of the Katsina State government at a brief ceremony held at the 17th Brigade headquarters, Katsina. Omokwariola, represented by the brigade's Chief of Staff, Colonel Yakubu Unwadiskas, explained that the Nigerian Army applied a non-kinetic approach in rescuing the victims. The victims, comprising 5 men and 2 nursing mothers along with their 2 babies, were said to have been kidnapped from different LGAs and dates by the bandits and taken to Kaduna State. Still talking security, the Kaduna State Police Command has announced the arrest of 3 members of a notorious kidnapping syndicate that has been operating along the Kaduna-Abuja highway and other neighboring states. A statement by the Public Relations Officer of the Kaduna State Police Command, ASP Mansir Hassan, said the breakthrough operation was conducted by the Operation Fushinkada Tracking and Response Team on November 5, 2024, following credible technical intelligence. According to Hassan, the suspects, identified as Muhammad Lawal Abubakar, 40 years, Abubakar Isa, 40, and Samaila Saidu, 65 years, were captured during an intelligence-driven operation. He added that the police recovered an AK-47 rifle with an empty magazine from them. The Adamawa State Police Command has apprehended a 19-year-old Aliyu Yaro for allegedly killing his 3-day-old baby boy. The suspect, who hails from Kwacham in Mubi, was accused of murdering the victim 3 days after his girlfriend gave birth to him. Aliyu confessed to the crime while fielding questions from the police public relations officer, SP Suleiman Yahya Ngoroje. He narrated how he impregnated the mother of the deceased, who happens to be his girlfriend known as Sefia, and after delivery kept calling him to come and carry his baby. The suspect said she had threatened to kill or throw away the baby if he fails to come and carry him, explaining that he was left with no alternative than to carry him. Ali revealed that he took the baby and fed him with milk after he had cried, adding that the following day the baby died. He further narrated that he single-handedly carried the corpse around 9 p.m. and buried it at Girpata in Mubi. Residents of Ojoto community in Idemili South local government area of Anambra State say their lives are being threatened by certain individuals over the traditional stool of the area. Though the matter is already in court, some of the community leaders have, however, relocated to other towns, claiming that their lives are in danger. Many residents of the community have left the community, while some others who have chosen to stay put in their area are hiding from those they described as tyrants. 2 persons are laying claim to the traditional stool of the community, whose traditional ruler died in 2016. Of the 2 persons, Chief Dennis Okafor was allegedly selected and crowned Ezebube II by the community, while the other chief, Gerald Mbamalo, claims that he received staff of office from the Anambra state government. The situation has heightened tension in the Ojoto community, Idemili South local government area, as many of the residents fear being harmed or killed and have gone undercover. And the Kebbi Development Forum says it is shocked and pained by reports of a terrorist attack on the Mira community and has commiserated with the affected families. It also extends heartfelt sympathy to the Mayor of Argungu, the Augie local government chairman, and the governor and entire people of Kebbi State on the loss of lives in the community. Recall that in the early hours of Friday, 8th November, some people described as bandits attacked the Mira community in the Augie local government area of Kebbi State, killing several people and stealing livestock. The forum urged the government and security agencies to track down these murderous gangs and bring them to justice. It also requested the government and other humanitarian agencies to take immediate steps to bring relief in the form of food, medical assistance and shelter to all those affected by the terrorist act. And President Bola Tinubu on Sunday arrived in Riyadh, the Saudi Arabian capital, to participate in the joint Arab-Islamic summit. The Nigerian leader landed at the King Abdulaziz International Airport at 10 a.m. local time and was received by the Deputy Governor of the Riyadh region, Prince Mohammed bin Abdurrahman bin Abdulaziz. The summit, held at the invitation of King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, will focus on the current situation in the Middle East. Presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga had earlier said the meeting is expected to address a number of critical regional issues, with particular emphasis on the ongoing Israel-Palestinian conflict. Tinubu is expected to speak on the crisis, reiterating Nigeria's stance for an immediate ceasefire and the urgent need for a peaceful resolution. He would use the opportunity to push for renewed international efforts to revive the two-state solution as a viable path to lasting peace. The Ondo State Resident Electoral Commissioner Oluwatoyin Babalola has assured that INEC has learned from past experiences and is well prepared to tackle the challenges posed by the difficult terrains in Ilaje and Eseodo local government areas ahead of Saturday's poll. During an interview, she told journalists that the Commission has taken proactive measures to address logistical concerns, including special arrangements for remote and riverine areas in Ondo State. This includes ensuring timely deployment of personnel and materials to polling units.
We have identified all the difficult terrains in Ondo State. In the riverine area, Ilaje and Eseodo local governments, we have identified the areas where we need to use boats, and we are providing transportation suitable for that terrain. On land, we still have places in Ondo State where you cannot easily drive to in certain local governments because they are deep in the forest. So the moment we convey our men and material to the last motorable place, we are going to have other means of transportation. We are using motorcycles so that we get to all these difficult terrains on time.
Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintri of Adamawa State has reiterated his administration's dedication to the well-being of citizens and resolved to champion good governance. During a meeting with a Michika community delegation, he pledged continued support for policies promoting unity and a sense of belonging across the state. Trust TV's Gibson Swadigo brings details.
The yearning for first-class chiefdom continues to push communities to the Adamawa State Government House, Yola, to meet with the governor, Ahmadu Umaru Fintri. This delegation is from Michika local government area, led by retired Major General Bitrus Kwaji. Speaking on behalf of the people, Musa Kamale thanked the governor for developmental projects in Michika and requested the creation of Michika Chiefdom. He explained how the administration of Governor Fintri has restored peace and security, which have in turn boosted agricultural and commercial activities in Michika.
I want to inform you that our people are solidly behind you and your administration. Our loyalty and support are unalloyed, pure, undiluted, and 100% sacrosanct. Collectively, we have resolved unanimously to appeal to Your Excellency to create Michika Chiefdom, Mbugaka Michika as the title, and Michika Town as the headquarters.
Governor Fintri, who is delighted with the support he enjoys from the Michika people, promised to continue delivering dividends of democracy to the entire state by ensuring no community is shortchanged.
You have said it all. And I want to assure you that this government, under my leadership, will continue to promote policies that will unite us. Policies that will give a strengthened sense of belonging to our students. And to also thank you for the area standing ovation given to me for all the performances of this government.
The lawmaker representing Michika and Madagali Federal Constituency, Zakaria Dauda Yampa, assured the governor of their continued support and loyalty. Gibson Soadgo, Trust TV News, Yola.
You're watching the news hour on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. Gombe community seeks government support for electricity infrastructure. This and more stories after the break. Join us again. Thanks for staying with the news hour on Trust Television. A recap of our top stories. Bandits attack Jibia town, kill 2 local security operatives in Katsina. And Nigeria Air Force neutralizes ISWAP terrorists, destroys enclave in southern Tumbunz. And the Adamawa Emirate Council has removed Hassan Mohammed from office on allegations of gross misconduct and insubordination, among others. A letter by the Acting Secretary, Adamawa Emirate Council, Yola Kabiru Bakari, said the removal takes effect from 7th November 2024. The statement therefore directed Hassan Mohammed to hand over all Adamawa Emirate Council lands in his custody and other properties he claims ownership of in Beti Gurel in Gurin District, Barumji and Bafere in Yola District, Bogare and Wafango in Mayo Ine District and Mayo Belwa District, among others, to the respective district heads. And after months of intelligence gathering and painstaking surveillance, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, have smashed 2 major cross-border drug trafficking syndicates with cocaine and opioids worth billions of naira. The NDLEA also arrested 6 leaders of the cartels in different parts of the country. Here's the report.
The syndicate, which comprised Nigerians based in Mubi, Adamawa State, Onitsha, Anambra State and Lagos State, as well as Cameroonians, came under NDLEA's radar after they were suspected of being major suppliers of drugs to terror groups operating in Nigeria and Cameroon. Leaders of the syndicate so far arrested include Ibrahim Bawuru, Najib Ibrahim, Ibrahim Umar, Nelson Udechukwu Anayo, Eze Amechi Martin, and Adejumo Elijah Ishola. Intelligence gathered revealed that some psychoactive substance, including tramadol, were often sourced by Ibrahim Bawuru and Ibrahim Najib from a notorious drug dealer in Onitsha, Nelson Udechukwu Anayo, and thereafter packed and concealed in vehicles in the premises of Eze Amechi Martin, an associate of Udechukwu. The duo of Ibrahim Bawuru and Ibrahim Najib will thereafter transport the drugs from Onitsha to Yola and subsequently to other parts of the north and Cameroon in specially constructed 4 compartments of vehicles which travelled from the east to the north at night. On 7th October 2024, Bawuro and Najib were trailed from Onitsha, where they had gone to buy another consignment, and eventually arrested in Taraba with a total of 276,500 pills of tramadol were recovered from a Toyota Avensis saloon car marked DKA57TT, which they abandoned on the Jalingo-Yola Expressway when the noticed NDLEA operatives were on their trail. Follow-up operations were subsequently carried out in Delta and Anambra states, where Eze Amechi Martins and Udechukwu Nelson Anayo were arrested by operatives of the NDLEA Directorate of Intelligence, which coordinated the whole effort with their counterparts in Taraba, Adamawa, Delta and Anambra. Another leader of a different syndicate, Adejumo Elijah Ishola, 37, was arrested by operatives of a special operation unit of the agency on Tuesday, 5th November at Seme border in Lagos on his way from Ghana with 3.3 kilograms of cocaine and 600 grams of synthetic cannabis. These followed months of intelligence and surveillance on his cross-border criminal activities. Meanwhile, NDLEA operatives in Apapa Seaport, Lagos on Wednesday, 6th November, intercepted 31,750,000 pills of 240 milligrams Voltron and controlled opioid, packaged and concealed in a container imported from India as diclofenac sodium 100 milligram tablets. The discovery made during a joint examination of the container with men of Customs Service and other security agency. At the Murtala Mohammed International Airport MMRA import shed Ikeja, Lagos, NDLEA officers on Tuesday, 5th November, intercepted a 700 grams consignment of Loud, a strong strain of cannabis. A software engineer, Olu Marshall, who showed up to collect the package, was promptly arrested, and a follow-up search of his home in Lekki led to the recovery of some drug paraphernalia, including a cannabis crusher. In Kwara State, not less than 162,800 pills of opioids were seized by NDLEA operatives from 4 suspects during interdiction operations in part of the state. While 112,200 tablets of tramadol were recovered from Wahaba Lao, Saliu, 18,900 tablets of same opioid were recovered from Dalha Musa, both at Enyikori area of Ilorin. 29,000 pills of tramadol, 200 ampoules of diazepam, and 99 bottles of codeine syrup seized from Ahmed Isiaka, just as 2,500 tablets of tramadol were seized from Ahmed Garba, both at Bode Sa'adu, Moro local government area of the state on Friday, 8 November. In Abuja, NDLEA operatives in the Federal Capital Territory on Thursday, 7 November, intercepted a truck along Abaji Kwali Road with 755.50 kg cannabis concealed under empty cartons of noodles. The truck driver, Lukman Rashid, 41, claimed that the bags of psychoactive substance were loaded onto the trailer in Ogbeshe, Ondo State after departing Lagos with only empty carton of noodles. In Ondo State, 4 suspects, Friday Daniel, Patrick Felix, Samuel Agada, and Igwe Chukwuka were arrested at Emurele with 672 kg cannabis sativa, while 513 of same substance was seized at Bodo Camp, Ikun Akoku, and a total of 4,908 kg cannabis recovered from a suspect, Misbau Kosama, at Alabi Yellow, Ijoka area of Akure on Wednesday, 6 November. Across the country, NDLEA commands continue their war against drug abuse. Wider sensitization lectures and advocacy visits to worship centers, schools, workplaces, palaces of traditional rulers and communities all through the past week.
The Nigerian Immigration Service has taken its campaign against migrant smuggling to motor parks, traditional institutions, religious and community leaders, as well as other public institutions. Disturbed by the increasing cases of migrants smuggling outside the shores of the country, the Nigerian Immigration Service highlighted some of the dangers and risks associated with the ugly trend. This was part of the just concluded campaign organized by the service in Katsina, northwest Nigeria. Trust TV's Abdullah Yamadi completes the report.
The service took the campaign to public places and communities to raise awareness and seek support in combating migrant smuggling, not only in Katsina, but Nigeria as a whole. Stakeholders say the choice of Katsina to hold the sensitization campaign was deliberate, considering its strategic location and also being one of the major corridors through which migrants are being smuggled to some African countries, Europe, Asia and America.
It is a trending issue that we all know about, and but we are not familiar with the effect of this. We all know that the issue of irregular migration is an illegal act, isn't it? But we have never been enlightened and sensitized on the consequences of it. With this, we are showing our appreciation to this service as well as the command for making this marvelous effort.
According to reports, migrant smuggling is a phenomenon that could lead to kidnapping, organ harvesting, forced labor, and sexual exploitation. Hence, the appeal for stakeholders' support in fighting this scourge. The transborder crime is taking a toll on communities due to the economic downturn, with thousands of disadvantaged families and communities across Nigeria falling victims of the crime, realizing its dangers when it is too late. A delegation from the immigration headquarters in Abuja, the jibia and Katsina commands controllers of the service described irregular migration as a transnational crime that can easily dehumanize victims and in severe cases lead to death.
It has been a very ugly and inhuman treatment. It's an act of slavery. It dehumanizes human beings. So for this reason, the CGI has deemed it necessary to dispatch him for the purpose of this program. I hope all the lessons that will be learned will be judiciously utilized.
How to solve it is, first of all, be aware that it exists. Secondly, be contented with what you have. Thirdly, don't get involved in anything that they call shortcuts.
Public commentators in Katsina described irregular migration and migrant smuggling as an alien crime to northern Nigeria, occasioned by the harsh economic realities eating deep into the fabrics of the people. They advised the government to review some of the policies forcing citizens into committing crimes. Abdullahi Izumayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And the Taraba state government has vowed to deal with those involved in the illegal mining and felling of trees in the state. Addressing journalists in Jalingo, the chairman, Taraba State Task Force on Illegal Mining and Felling of Trees, General Aliyu Jeremiah Faransa, retired, said almost all 22 forest reserves in the state have turned into farmland and mining sites. General Faransa stressed that the damage done by illegal miners in the state, especially within the areas of Gashaka, Wokari and Bali local government, is alarming. He stated that several arrests have been made within the affected areas, adding that majority of the illegal miners caught were foreigners from Mali, Cameroon, Chad, Burkina Faso and China, and have all been handed over to the mobile court for prosecution. He further warned those behind the act to desist forthwith, as the government will no longer tolerate illegal activities of felling trees as part of efforts to address climate change.
We have gone around Taraba State. Anywhere mining is taking place in Taraba State, we have been there. On that, we started another phase, which is raids and arrests. We've gone to places like Akwana, Arufu. We've gone to Abuja Leda. We've gone to Mayosine. We've gone to Dogoyasu. We've gone to Pachama, Didango, Machizin Kiria, a boundary between us and Plateau State. And the level of destruction done to this state can never be imagined. I'm planning, like I always say, we will go on a small jamboree so that you see things. When you see things physically to yourself, I think your orientation will change about what is happening in this state.
As the country is facing incessant national grid collapses, the Gombe community has urged the stakeholders to help them with standard power sources so as to prevent a continuation of them. Trust TV's Hassan Koli brings details in this report.
According to residents, despite their proximity to Gombe town, improper electricity supply has deprived them of basic social amenities for more than 5 years. The development also forces trade in areas of health, economy, and overall social well-being of Sudanese quarters.
Without electricity, you can think of so many things that can not go well, including the lightning, which is a security challenges which pose a risk in that community. When you look at health-wise, especially during the hot weather, people need to have lights and they need to have at least a good ventilation of fanning system and a good ventilation that may give such individuals a chance to live within their homes, thus decreasing the risks of coming out to sleep outside their rooms, being bitten by mosquitoes. And then if there is congestion, there will be outbreak of some diseases like cerebrospinal meningitis.
Distribution companies always claim to provide us with 20 hours of supply daily, which is untrue, as we are only having less than 10 hours of supply and still not on a daily basis. Even if they bring the light, it usually comes half current, making it less useful, as one cannot even charge his phone properly, let alone grind grains or pump water from boreholes. Some people are selling their houses because of that, so we will be grateful if the government can intervene. The community members who were working round the clock to secure the proper electricity supply in the area are now urging government intervention to address their grievances.
We are facing difficulties of having the full current of electricity here. Why? Because of the shortage of the wires that we have and some issues of the poll wires. So that is why we have started contributing some amount of money in order to see how we are going to address this issue.
The only challenge we have here is we don't have electricity. Therefore, we are appealing to the government that government should provide, or any other person that can help in one way or the other, or to intervene in this issue of electricity in this community.
With over 900 houses in the area, the Sudania community is optimistic that a provision of standard electricity infrastructure will go a long way in addressing the power crisis in the area. From Gombe, Hassan Koli reporting for Trust TV.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Moving on now, the federal government's budget deficit has risen to 7.5% of the country's gross domestic product as of August 2024, reflecting a significant widening of the gap between government revenue and expenditure. A member of the Central Bank of Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee, Mohammed Abdullahi, disclosed this in his personal statement at the 297th MPC meeting. The document was published on the website of the Central Bank of Nigeria. This was as the CBN economic report revealed that Nigeria's fiscal deficit surged to 4.53 trillion naira in the second quarter of 2024, up from 3.88 trillion naira in the previous quarter. In simple terms, a fiscal deficit happens when a government's spending exceeds its revenue from taxes and other sources. It means the government is spending more money than it's bringing in. And meanwhile, the Crude Oil Refinery Owners Association of Nigeria has warned the federal government to be cautious in granting import licenses to petroleum traders for the importation of refined products. Koran's comment came amid the controversy between the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and oil marketers. Members of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria had said they would import premium motor spirit and sell the product cheaper than the 990 naira per litre offered by the Dangote refinery, saying the association was awaiting the approval of the NMDPRA. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria also said it was processing its import license, with the NMDPRA saying it might be cheaper to import than to buy from Dangote refinery. However, in an interview, the Publicity Secretary of Koran, Eche Idoko, expressed concerns that the marketers were still bent on importing what he called substandard petrol into the country. According to him, some international traders were bent on using the Nigerian market as a dumping ground for cheap petroleum products rejected in Europe. And President-elect Donald Trump has named Susie Wiles the de facto manager of his victorious campaign as White House Chief of Staff, the first woman to hold the influential role. Wiles is widely credited within and outside Trump's inner circle for running what was by far his most disciplined and well-executed campaign, and was seen as the leading contender for the position. She largely avoided the spotlight, even refusing to take the mic to speak as Trump celebrated his victory early Wednesday morning. She resisted the formal title of campaign manager, avoiding becoming a target, given Trump's history of cycling through people in that role. Wiles' hire is Trump's first major decision as president-elect, and one that could be a defining test of his incoming administration, as he must quickly build the team that will help run the massive federal government. Wiles doesn't bring much federal government experience to the role, but has a close relationship with the president-elect. And also, racist text messages invoking slavery raised alarm across the country this week after they were sent to black men, women and students, including middle schoolers, prompting inquiries by the FBI and other agencies in the United States of America. The messages, sent anonymously, were reported in several states including New York, Alabama, California, Ohio, Pennsylvania and Tennessee. They generally used a similar tone but varied in wording. Some instructed the recipient to show up at an address at a particular time with their belongings, while others didn't include a location. Some of them mentioned the incoming presidential administration. It wasn't yet clear who was behind the messages, and there was no comprehensive list of where they were sent, but high school and college students were among the recipients.
These texts generally used a similar tone, but they varied in wording. Some of the texts would instruct the recipient to report to a particular location at a particular time, and the addresses in question, they were allegedly plantations. And then these recipients were told that they were going to be put in specific groups, plantation groups. Now, it is still unclear who is behind these texts, and there's no comprehensive list of where they were sent.
Cuba's government on Saturday said it arrested an unspecified number of people who staged demonstrations when a hurricane left the island without power for the second time in weeks. The prosecutor's office said those arrested in Havana and the central provinces of Maybach and Ciego de Avila were being charged with assault, public disorder, and property damage. Hurricane Rafael knocked power out on Wednesday after hitting the west of the Caribbean island of 10 million people as a major Category 3 storm. The blackout lasted 2 days. It came just 2 weeks after Hurricane Oscar, which left 8 dead in the east of the island during a national electricity blackout caused by the failure of the island's biggest power plant and a shortage of fuel, the government said. Half of the people of Havana now have electricity again, but much of the capital and the neighboring province of Artemisa do not. According to the prosecutor's office, those detained after protesting were being held for acts of aggression against authorities and territorial inspectors, causing injuries and public disturbances. And in Africa, thousands of people from around Botswana attended the inauguration of the country's new president, Duma Boko, who called for unity after an election that brought an end to the former ruling party's 58 years in power. His umbrella for democratic change, a coalition of Botswana National Front and the Alliance for Progressives, won 36 parliamentary seats and denied former President Mokwetsi Masisi a second term. Boko took his oath of office in front of thousands of citizens and delegates in the capital, Gaborone, on Friday after arriving in an open-top vehicle accompanied by flag-carrying soldiers on white horses. Addressing the nation in his first official speech as president, Boko encouraged those in attendance to give his predecessor, who was often subjected to jails, some love and praised his willingness to concede power without incident. He described the change of government in Botswana as a historic moment and stressed the need to avoid squabbles and personal rifts.
I, Duma Gideon Boko, do swear that I will faithfully and diligently discharge my duties and perform my functions in the high office of the President of the Republic of Botswana. We cannot allow ourselves to be drawn into squabbles about where the line was and who stood on which side. The message I impart is unity, togetherness. We are the village that the future will look back to and either praise or look back in lamentation.
And former Ivorian Prime Minister Pascal Affi N'Guessa on Saturday was named as the candidate for the Popular Ivorian Front FPI in the 2025 presidential election. At a congress in Yamoussoukro, the Ivorian capital, N'Guessa was re-elected president of the FPI with 99.34% of the votes cast by some 4,500 voters. The FPI is the party of former President Laurent Gbagbo. N'Guessa took over its leadership during Gbagbo's incarceration in The Hague on war crimes and crimes against humanity charges. N'Guessa has sought the presidency in 2015 and 2020, each time losing to Alassane Ouattara, the incumbent. He rejected the results and was briefly arrested on accusations of running a parallel government. Some of N'Guessa's key proposals include abolishing the Senate and the restoration of presidential term limits. And Congolese political and civil society leaders on Saturday announced an alliance to rally against constitutional changes that will ensure President Felix Tshisekedi keeps power indefinitely. Named National Awakening, the coalition will hold its first meeting in mid-December to pay tribute to the 2005 referendum, which gave birth to the 2006 constitution. They called attempts by Tshisekedi's ruling coalition to change the constitution high treason. Opposition leaders Martin Fayulu and Moise Katumbi are also leading separate initiatives against the constitutional review project. Tshisekedi has called the current text outdated and ripe for reform. The law limits presidential mandates to 2 members of Tshisekedi's party, say that the current constitution was written from a position of weakness because the country was embroiled in a war. They say reforms are needed to protect the country's sovereignty amid changing political and military dynamics in the region. And in sports, Flying Eagles forward Parobo Ariehi has agreed a move to Norwegian top-flight club Lillestrøm SK. Ariehi will sign a permanent contract with Lillestrøm when the transfer window reopens in January. The 17-year-old will link up with Canaries from Nigeria National League outfit Beyond Limits FA. The striker arrived in Norway on Friday and has started training with his new teammates. And the 455 Base Services Group of the Nigerian Air Force in Kano is set to host the 4th Annual Chief of Air Staff Under-20 football competition, kicking off this Sunday. Addressing the Kano chapter of the Sports Writers Association, Base Commander Group Captain Mustafa Suleiman highlighted the importance of engaging young people through such competitions. This year's event, organized in collaboration with the Africa Youth Sports Federation, will feature 36 participating teams.
Is not only achieving the sustainable security in this country by kinetic approach, but also through non-kinetic approach, one of which is football that is organized among our teaming youth, with the aim of uniting them, because once you have a unity among the youth, it means you have a peaceful nation. And if you can achieve sustainable peace and security without firing a shot, that's the best thing that can happen to the country.
With that, we wrap up the news hour on Trust Television. Do not forget to follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on YouTube and Facebook for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Sagir Ibrahim, and on behalf of the crew, good night.